let's look at profile and propelling your profile. What this actually means, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, now, profile means a short description of someone's life, work, character, attention, the amount of public attention and notice that something receives. And then when we say propel, we mean to push or move something somewhere, often with a lot of force.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. Excellent. All right. Well, that brings me to my favorite time of the show, and that's where we bring on our guest speaker. So today we have Aldwyn, who some of you know, and for those that have not met Aldwyn yet, you are in for a treat. So she's constantly in the media, and her clients are constantly in the media as well too. She really does live her message. I can't believe it. She has spent 40 years in sort of journalism and in the media. When you look at her, you think, wow, you know, for the 30 odd years that she's lived, she's really sort of packed in her life. But she has been around sort of in media for a very, very long time. I know we've known each other for probably a good 15 years. So pretty much when I landed in Australia, I met Aldwyn. But she's very sort of proficient at what she does. She really does get media coverage for a whole host of people. You might have seen her recently. She was on Channel 9 News, and she's been in papers as well for the fire ant program or eradication program the Queensland government's rolling out here in Queensland, which have been introducing all sorts of issues and problems. So she was one of the spokespeople sort of for that there. But she was the one that got into media because she sort of knew how to do it. So, and I do remember another story of hers as well, where she got sort of swept out to sea as well. I won't tell that story. She'll probably tell you that one as well too. But not only is she in media, but she's got all these life experiences. I'm not sure whether she engineers the life experiences to get into media, or she's just got such an exciting life that is media worthy and gets picked up. But whatever it is, I know you're in for a sensational session tonight. So let's put your hands together. Welcome to the stage, Aldwyn Altuney.
Yay. Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much. The crowd goes wild. Amazing. Great to be with you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will share my screen. It's a great point about engineering the stories. I promise I do not engineer the stories. It is exactly as you see it. And in fact, I spoke at an event earlier today, and that we were talking about branding today, and they were saying that, well, their idea of my brand was about being kind. Being kind is at the heart of everything I do, and about inspiring truth and good news as well. So we'll see some of that today. Can't wait to share with you this presentation. So I'll share my screen, and I do like to make it interactive, as Nick said. So we'll just get this up, make sure you can see this. All right, can you see that nice and clear? Thumbs up. Yes.
Looking good.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, propel your profile. 11 secrets to build your brand and become the go-to expert in your industry. That's what we're going to chat about today. Now, just imagine this. I'd love you to imagine and share in the chat if you would like to. What would it be like for you if you were seen as the go-to expert in your industry? What would that be like? Or what if the media actually called you asking for interviews? Or what if event organizers sought you out for well-paid speaking gigs, or gigs that you could get well paid for at the end of? Imagine that. What would that be like for you? Feel free to share in there. And what if you could attract clients easily and effortlessly? I would love to hear from you. What would that be like for you? It'd be amazing, Lorraine. Thank you. Neil, I'll be following up. Create, manage, publish, rocket typist. Rocket Mark. Thank you. Absolutely. Love to, Christian. Christian says, love to. That would be amazing. Excellent. Thank you so much for your participation. That is brilliant. Well, today I'm going to show you exactly what I did to help multiple people build strong brands and create more cash flow, build their global impact, influence, and income, be seen, heard, and known as the expert in their field, and be sought after by media to be interviewed. Because the fact is, if you're not out there being interviewed by the media, someone else in your industry will be. Now, these 4 things here, we've done with multiple people in different countries with different skills, and it's worked every single time. So I'm going to share how you can do it too. Now, imagine if you're not in the media right now, somebody else in your industry will be. And I would imagine if you think about that somebody else in your industry that is known as an expert that is being featured in the media all the time, when you think about what they're sharing about versus what you'd share about, is it really anything, groundbreaking or anything, that really stands out with what they're sharing? And mostly you'll probably find that not really, right? That the essence of what most people do is similar. It's just that your X factor is actually your story. And that's what we want to hear. We want to hear why you do what you do, how you impact the world with what you do. And that's what the media are interested in as well. So why listen to me today? I'm sure there's many other things you could be doing tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Well, I actually know what it's like to feel invisible. I was a first generation Aussie, grew up in Sydney. I have Greek, Turkish, Ukrainian background. And if you know anything about those 3 countries, they were all at war with each other at one point. And so I say my parents got together, had make-up sex, and I'm the love child. So yes, it's been quite a hell of a ride. And, I was depressed. I was bullied as a kid. I used to watch a lot of negative news. My dad was one of these people. He used to not just put one channel of negative news on every night. He would put multiple channels of negative news. So we'd go from local news to national news to world news. And by the end of it, I was so depressed and upset and thought, gosh, why would you even want to live in a world where there's just so much nastiness going on? And then Dad said to me, anger is danger. And so I ended up internalizing my anger for many years, which actually led to depression, as I realized later. And I used to, do all I could to basically end my life for a long time there in my teenage years. I was drinking and smoking and totally off the rails. And then, got kicked out of home at 15 and then turned my life around with a turning point that happened in my life. And no doubt in your life, there will be times in your life when you've had some ups and downs on this roller coaster ride of life. And I invite you, as we're sharing tonight, about look at your life and look at the times in your life when you've had the biggest turning points, because often it's in those biggest turning points and the biggest breakdowns where the breakthrough is. That's where those things that happen for us. I always say, how has this happened for me, right? Like when I got swept out to sea last year, I was in Coffs Harbour and you can see the story online. It was all over the media, but basically I could have easily have drowned, and it was one of the most horrific experiences of my life. However, I survived it, and then I got straight onto the media the next day, because on the council website, it said this area of Coffs Harbour, which was Boambi Beach, it said it was a safe area for children to swim. And it certainly was not a safe area for children to swim. So I got straight on the media trail, and we got news, and they changed the website that day on the council website after we got that media coverage. And I'm just grateful that my 2 girlfriends didn't get taken out at that time. Because they would have definitely drowned. And this wasn't, for anyone who's been caught in a rip, who's our good swimmers here? If you've been caught in a rip, this was not like a rip. This was basically a creek that went out to the ocean, and there was a headland on one side, and the tide was going out. So the suction of this the pool that was going out was extreme. And before long, I was about a kilometre out to sea, no lifeguards, no ships, any of that. It was absolutely one of the most scary experiences. However, I'm so grateful for it, because it was like pressing the reset button on my life. And sometimes we need to have these shocking experiences in our life, I believe, to make us stronger, and sometimes to re-navigate our path in life, to make sure that we're on course for where we want to be going. Now, like a lot of you, I would imagine as entrepreneurs that you probably had some element of refusing to conform to society. Is anyone like that who's refused to conform to society in the education system? I know there's a lot of rebels with the entrepreneurs out there. So if that's you, just pop a yes in the chat. It'd be great to hear all my fellow rebels. Thank you, Ben. Excellent. Alistair, yes. Welcome to the club. Lorraine, we're all the misfits, right, that are going to change the world, right? Nick, thank you. Christian, thank you so much. And then what happened is I fast-tracked my success by having mentors and upskilling. And I've actually invested about $1 million now in business and personal development, and I continue to invest. And it's something that I highly recommend, that if you're not investing, well, if you don't invest with your money, you're going to be playing with time. And if you pay with time, you're maybe saving some money. The thing is now, so many people have invested with sharks, unfortunately. There's a lot of sharks out there in the industry, and people have been burned. And so now more than ever, trust is really, really crucial when it comes to getting out there. Now, I do have 40 years media experience. I first started when I was 10, and I was interviewed by the media for table tennis. I was a top junior table tennis player in Australia, played for Australia for 6 years, and I was on TV, national television at age 11 on Channel 7 as well, which was totally horrifying for me as an 11-year-old on TV in front of 2 million people. However, I survived the experience, and you do get better with practice. You get more confident with practice. So I definitely wouldn't let that stop you. And then I began media training in 2002. I've gained clients since then through my media business, over $1 billion in free publicity globally, and worked as a journalist, TV, radio, print, and online media as well for many years. And I practice what I preach. As Nick said, I'm constantly out there getting in the media, doing the speaking gigs, getting in book projects. You've been about 20 compilation books now. These are just some of them. We just had another one launch in the last week as well. Just became Amazon bestseller. Legacy Business Builders just got launched this week. So that was also a great experience there, being in that. And every time you get into a compilation book, you are basically using exponential marketing when you're in compilation book. You've got 20 other people or so all marketing the book to their people. Now, it is great to have your own book out as well. Highly recommend doing your own book as well. However, even if you just start by getting in a compilation book, some of these books I've done with people in India, in America and Singapore, it's really a beautiful global opportunity now. And if you want some connections, then just reach out. I can connect you with some people that put some books together. In case you don't believe the table tennis story, there I am at age 10. That's in the Manly Daily in Sydney. And on the right here, this was on Agro's Cartoon Connection when I was 11 years of age in Sydney. And then since then, I've had clients in media all over the world, and I've appeared in media myself, radio shows, etc. So the strategies I'll show you today, these work for, for any kind of media that you want to be in. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, of course, whether it's newspapers, magazines. These are a few magazines: M Magazine, Jetstar I used to freelance for, also Business Acumen Magazine, and many others, and featured in myself as well. And then through my media business, work with small and large companies. Mostly nowadays I work with speakers, authors, coaches. However, I have worked with all sizes of business here, mainly small business. These are some of the people I've had the great fortune of interviewing. And really, these people are really not much different to you and I. The main differences are, they're passionate about what they do. They once upon a time, no one knew who these people were. They got out there, they followed their passions, they stayed on course. They were entertainers as well. All these people are entertainers. And one big thing that they all have in common is that they have toughened themselves to criticism. Now, this is really important. If you want to propel your profile and you want to be seen out there as an expert in your field, you have to toughen yourself to criticism. Now, we were on Channel 9 last week talking about the government's, I call it the Australian government poisoning Australia program, with the fire ant eradication program, because we've had a lot of cats, dogs, horses, cows have been dying from this poison. And you can actually kill fire ants with hot water. And what's happening is we've got helicopter spraying over properties in southeast Queensland at the moment with this poison, and birds are dying, obviously the pollinators, the bees. And so we did a big fundraiser about a week ago, and we had about 200 people at Currumbinara Cell, and then we got that footage up on Channel 9. And since that Channel 9 story came out, which has actually just had 15,000 views online, with the online version of the story just up until today, and the Channel 9 Gold Coast News would have had 200,000 people, 2.8 million people across Queensland. Anyway, since that story came out, the trolls have been coming out of the woodwork, attacking me personally, attacking me from private profiles, it has been full on, it has been full on. But you know what? That spurs me on even more to speak up about something I'm passionate about. So I ask you now today, what is it that you're passionate about? What is it that angers you or upsets you that you want to speak up about? And maybe you've thought about this thing. It could be child sexual abuse, or it could be, what is it for you? I'd love to hear from you in the chat. What is something that you want to see change in the world? What is something that you've been upset about, angered about, and you've done nothing about it up until now? Or maybe you've done a little bit, but you want to do more in that area. What is that for you? I would love to hear from you, because I think if you are angered or upset by something, it's a prompting. It's a prompting from the universe, God, whatever you believe in. It's a prompting to do something about it. And not enough people do. And this is where 90% of people die with the music in them, right? 90% of people die with regrets, and a third of people die by the age of 65. In fact, tonight's show I want to dedicate to Kerwin Ray, you know, an absolute inspiration. I can't believe he passed away at 49. I mean, who would have guessed, right? One of the most amazing personal development speakers out there, and business speakers, and 1 minute here, next minute gone. You know, we think we've got forever to do things, but the fact is we don't. We've got to seize the moment, I believe. And if something spurs you into action, like this fire ant thing did, because I just saw a story about a guy that took his dog for a walk in Currumbin, and a park had been poisoned with the fire ant poison from the government. And basically the dog licked its paws and suddenly was throwing up that night and got sick. And then there were all these other animals that died or really got sick. And so I thought, I've got to do something about this. I can't just sit back and watch this happen, you know? So yeah, please share in the chat there. What are some things that you're really passionate about? Thank you so much. I can hear Lisa. Thank you. Great to hear you've had an impact. Thank you, Lisa. Mike, DV and child abuse. Yeah, that's a massive one. Lisa, mRNA vaccine damage. Yeah, well, that's massive, right? And we're seeing a lot of heart attacks from jab damage as well, I believe, but do your own research on that one. Now, Ben Madden, competitors who rip people off, SEO ads website. Yes, a lot of that going on, Ben. Absolutely, I feel you there. Mark, homelessness and child sex trafficking. I've run 3 fundraisers for Destiny Rescue. Brilliant, Mark. I love Destiny Rescue, fantastic charity. And of course, we love Destiny Rescue at BX as well, all the BXs here. Lisa, yes, I agree. I feel propelled to write about connecting with horses with kindness and compassion rather than controlling through pain. Beautiful, Lisa. Love that. Lorraine says the media constantly saying how women should or shouldn't do things at various ages. If you're 30, you can't do this or that. If you're 40, don't wear a short skirt. If you're 50, can't have long hair, and domestic violence needs to stop. Yeah, look, domestic violence also goes both ways. I was actually emceeing at with the Sanctuary. There's the women's and pet refuge here on the coast called the Sanctuary, and I did the emceeing at their opening event, and I actually spoke up for the guys too. There's actually many guys also that are impacted by DV that aren't spoken about as well. So it can definitely go both ways, and I think we need to really you know, acknowledge that as well, because yeah, no matter what sex you are, DV is not acceptable in any sex or for any human being. Lack of truth, Neil says. Yes, just finished a book about it. Well done. That's great. Lack of truth. Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. Absolutely. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you. Now let's look at profile and propelling your profile. What this actually means, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, now, profile means a short description of someone's life, work, character, attention, the amount of public attention and notice that something receives. And then when we say propel, we mean to push or move something somewhere, often with a lot of force. Propel someone towards something, to cause someone to do an activity or be in a situation. So what we're doing is we're gently urging our people to you know, to follow our profiles or to connect with us, and it can be like a rocket ship, like this picture here on the right. And it really, often with your marketing, it's often something that sometimes it can feel like, you know, you're chugging along, and then suddenly there can be something happen, maybe one media appearance or one big speaking gig or one opportunity, and suddenly things just skyrocket, right? It's like the exponential curve of life. And the thing is so important to be consistent with your messaging. Now, why is it so important to build your profile? Well, if you just look at cybercrime, you know, we have major trust issues now, major, and it's going up with our trust issues because as more and more people have gone online, so have the scammers, right? The scammers are online. And now this is just the cost of cybercrime worldwide in trillions of US dollars. So right now we're looking at 14.57 trillion US dollars estimated cost of cybercrime worldwide this year. And that's going to go up 17 trillion and then 20. And you can see it's just going to keep going up. So has anyone ever been ripped off here before? Just pop a yes in the chat. Have you ever been ripped off by anyone, online or offline? And that would be probably mostly everyone. I know I certainly have. If you've been ripped off at all, yes. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Lorraine. Yep, absolutely. That's right. There's a lot of that going on more than once. Yep, absolutely. Nick, Ben, thank you. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ben, about your mum. Yeah, it's horrible, but you know, they're all learning experiences, that's for sure. And we need to share the message. Thank you, May. Yeah, absolutely. So we don't know who to trust. So that's why building your brand is so important, because it is a time now of people follow people. People follow people. So when you want to promote your business, you want to see who we're dealing with in the business. We don't want to just deal with businesses that have no face to the business anymore. We get very frustrated with that. Christian, yes, as well. The only industry to benefit from IT is from the global cybercrime industry is IT. Yeah, 19 scammers, equity firms, mark 11 months, 50,000 US. Wow, in France and Amsterdam. Yeah, Colin, too often by too many people. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Now, when we think about branding, we're often thinking about fonts, colors, etc. But when the branding and the marketing comes together, that's when the magic happens. So 80% of anything we do is marketing. So knowing where to market, how to market is really, really important to leverage what you do. Now, I don't do any paid ads currently, right? I have done a little bit of paid ads in the past, but everything I do currently is organic. And so organic can be a bit of a slower road. However, it definitely builds loyalty over time. And unless you're spending lots of money on advertising in general, you're not going to get great return on investment in general. Okay, there are some people getting some great results, but most people I speak to aren't, and they've wasted thousands of dollars on advertising. So that's where getting the free PR is really important. Now, what does your brand say about you? And it's important to look at your brand. What does it say about you? So, for example, Media Queen, it's about crowning yourself. It's about celebrating your uniqueness. You know, you don't need to be born into royalty to put yourself out there. It's about having fun with what you do. And you know, I often say, like, my nose is not that big, right? So, you know, have fun with what you do. I think it's very important. And look, there's people that hate my brand and there's others that love it. And at the end of the day, I don't care, because I like it, and you've got to be aligned with your brand. Okay. Now, you know, you can ask what people think of it, sure, get people's opinions, etc. But at the end of the day, you have to, I believe, so important to be aligned with your messaging and your branding and what you're putting out in the marketplace. Otherwise, if you're just doing something for the money, you're not going to stick with it. I've seen so many people come and go over the years, just do it for the money. They're here one minute, gone the next, you know. So I do believe the driver underneath it all is so important. And it is about getting the right message, the right person at the right time. That's when the love and the money come flooding in. Now, I believe that this is one of my frameworks here. I believe having a good, strong message and thinking in sound bites is what the media wants. Sound bites now. They want 20-second grabs. And when we actually had our Currumbin RSL event recently, it was called Stop Toxic Fire Ant Program. We had a film by Lynn Sutherland. It was called Pulse of Life. And we had a speaker panel with about 8 speakers. And media crews couldn't get out there. They didn't have enough crew to come out from Channel 7 and 9. So they actually asked us to send them some footage, which is exactly what we did. And they asked us to send it to them in 20-second sound bites. And they actually said, just shoot it on your phone, horizontal 20-second sound bites. And that's what we gave them, and that's what they used. So this is as simple as it gets nowadays. You know, give the journalist what they want, how they want it. Make their job easy for them. And same with people being flooded with information nowadays. The clearer and more concise you can make your message, the more likely you are to get the cut through. So being authentic, looking at your story. What's your story behind what you do? Being consistent, having clarity on your message is so important. And then the next step is market, looking at trends in the marketing. Look at the needs, the targeting, the positioning. What's current right now. Now, the fire ant thing is incredibly current right now, because this is being rolled out in southeast Queensland. We're the testing ground for these poisons right now. And when you look into it, it's absolutely horrifying when you actually do some research, rather than, you know, a lot of people just bury their head in the sand, you know, like what we saw through I call it the pandemic, the last 4 years. We saw a lot of people burying their head in the sand. And, you know, whenever the government says something is safe and they mandate it, then question it, right? Question it, because we saw that what happened through the pandemic was definitely not safe, and it was not effective, right? We saw that. So now we're seeing it with the fire ant poisoning. And what's happening is we're killing organic farming right now, because these sprays with helicopters, it's going over all the food supplies, going over people's water tanks. It's horrible. Plus, people are getting sent in the mail a packet of poison that looks like a vitamin container, and it's got a brochure with it that says, put this in your yard even if there's no fire ants. And this poison should never be put where there's no fire ants. I've spoken to fire ant experts in America. They've worked on this for years. They said this poison should never be put where there are no fire ants. Yet that is what the government is pushing. Okay, exactly. Who's getting paid? Well, who's getting paid off? It's going back to, for that, Lisa, it's actually going back to Monsanto, which has now been out by Bao, which of course genetically modified food, right? They're trying to kill the food supplies, they're trying to kill the water supplies. That's my belief. Do your own research, okay? But this is what's going on, okay? The government, which means mind control, okay, that's what the word government means, mind control. That's exactly what's going on. However, more and more people are waking up to it, thank goodness. And, you know, thankfully people are starting to question things. And the more we can get our messages out and share the messages, share some of the videos that we've got online, check out the Facebook group, Stop the Toxic Fire Ant Program, and you'll see there's a lot of conversation going on about this. There's a meeting in Wollongbar on Friday, like really like the community is coming together on this because we've had enough. So as you can hear, there's a bit of passion in my voice, right? So, and it's a hot trend right now. There's a hot topic because people don't know what to do because the fire ant crews are coming to people's homes and they're saying that they've got to spray this stuff everywhere. And if you don't let them on your property, you're going to get fined $15,000. And that's just absolute insanity. You know, when there's a risk that your pets can get killed by this stuff. And that, by the way, that's a reasonable excuse. So you just give them a reasonable excuse, get informed, get empowered. You do not have to let them on your property. Okay, I've said enough about that. Let's move right along. So media. Now, what platforms do you want to go to? Where are your ideal clients hanging out? What's your content going to be like to be able to answer their questions and to be able to solve problems? How are you going to pitch to your market and how do you package up what you do? And then the next step is monetizing, looking at affiliates, partnerships, services, products. Now, I just spoke at Susan Sheehan's event today. I've known Susan Sheehan for probably 15 years through many different networking circles. And now I'm having an event on Saturday and I've invited her to come and speak at my event on Saturday at Club Helensvale. I've got a free event 9 till 12 called Propel Your Profile. I'm going to go deeper into this topic on Saturday if you'd like to join us. And then we'll be having some lunch afterwards at Club Helensvale. She's now invited her. So you see, it's all building relationships. Like Nick and I have known each other at least 15 years through many different networking circles. And I've interviewed Nick and he's let me on his show and all, you know, we're constantly collaborating. And that's a beautiful thing about, you know, building great connections. Branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. I love this quote by Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of Amazon. And while it is, I love this, and at the same time, what people say about you when you're not in the room is also in some ways none of your business, right? In as far as, look, it's good to know what people's opinions are in some way, but do, you know, at the same time, some people, when you hear things you don't like, some people just crumble. They just go, oh, it's all too hard, I'm not going to do it, etc. So I also invite you to keep an open mind as you get feedback from people about different things. Keep an open mind, and at the end of the day, make an informed decision. Make a decision that sits well with you at the end of the day with everything you're doing. I think that's absolutely crucial. So for example, if I just mention the name Donald Trump, now I know immediately some of you are going to be triggered by mentioning Donald Trump. But one thing I value about Donald Trump is that no matter how much people put him down, he just keeps on going, right? And that's the kind of resilience you need, I believe, to really build a big brand, to build your profile, to be known as the expert in your field. That's what it takes. Now, if we look at where the media's gone over the years, hasn't it just changed a wee bit over the years, right? Since the 1960s, where we just had a few media channels that were blasting all the stories out. Now we have mass media. We have the world of mass media, which is so exciting because now you are the media, you are the news, right? And if you're not out there being the news and being sought after as an expert in your field, then someone else will be. Now, the beauty is with the media, once they know that you're an expert in your field, they will come looking for you when they want an expert in that field again, as long as you come across well on camera and you come across well in your interviews and you know what you're talking about. If you are clumsy with your interviews and if you fumble around and if you're not good talent, as in there's a lot of dead air, and this is one reason I speak fast, because we can't have dead air on radio, right? It's a big no-no. So for years in the media, it's a go industry, as Christian knows, I know, having worked in the media. You know, it's a go industry, and so you have to think quick, you have to be quick, you have to be on the go, and particularly if pitching to media as well, you need to be quick and snappy because they do not like it when you waste their time. And this is where building great relationships over time, when you do get your media spots, if you blitz your media interviews, then you're going to get invited back again and again and again. And this is what we see. Now, I found this fascinating. I found this chart here, and this is how much data is created, consumed, and stored. This is from 2010 to 2025. Now, if you think you're overloaded with information, look at this. zettabyte, there's 1 trillion gigabytes, is 1 zettabyte, right? So let's look at 2024. We have 147 zettabytes of data being created, consumed, and stored for this year. 147 zettabytes, and 1 zettabyte is 1 trillion gigabytes. Okay, that's how much information is going around, and that's just going to keep going up. So if you're wondering why it's hard to or challenging to be seen amongst the noise, that's partly it. And just as if you weren't overloaded enough with stats, here's a few more shocking stats for you. Did you know that we consume 74 gig of data per day? That's about 16 movies a day, which is equal to the amount of data an extremely educated individual would process in a lifetime 500 years ago. And it's increasing each year by around 5%. Isn't that insane? These stats just blew me away. Users upload 500 hours of video on YouTube per minute. This is from YouTube directly. An average user 18 and above spends 41.9 minutes a day on YouTube. So that's 42 minutes a day the average person is spending on YouTube. So if you're not getting video content out there, I do invite you to look at that for yourself and to get some more video content out to help build your profile. Very important. Over 100 billion WhatsApp messages are sent every day, and users spend 2 billion plus minutes on video and voice calls per day. That's absolutely insane. And some of you will know, of course, Meta now owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads. And you'll see a lot of cross-collateral marketing happening now between WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram that you'll see because of Meta. Over 90% of internet users watch videos online. 70% listen to music, 51% vlogs, which is video blogs, 47% online radio, and 39% podcasts. So if you want to get in front of the masses, you got to go where the masses are, and this is where they're going. Every day, 362 billion emails are sent worldwide in 2024. I'd love to know how many of those are actually opened out of those 362 billion emails. And that's going to be close to 380 billion next year. So even more emails are going out as well. And then by 2025, next year, around 6 billion, that's 75% of the world's population, consumers, will interact with data every day compared to 5 billion in 2018. So it's going to go up another billion from the last 7 years. And each connected person will have a digital data engagement over 4,900 times per day next year. That's about 1 digital interaction every 18 seconds. Oh my gosh, it's exhausting just going through those stats. That's what's going on, right? So no wonder we're being challenged getting cut through the media. And this is where standing out as your unique self and putting yourself out there is going to help you stand out and help you cut through all that noise, because at any one time, only 2% or so of people are actually seeing your content anyway. Now, those stats came from IDC, or International Data Corporation, apart from the YouTube one. And sometimes it feels a bit like this, right? Sometimes your head can be spinning. Oh my gosh, it can be crazy. And we are a time also of influencer marketing. Ross is above average for YouTube. Oh, that's good, Ross. Excellent. That's more than your 42 minutes a day, I see. Now, active social media users also have passed 5 billion of the world's 7.9 billion population. Now, Facebook only started in 2004. So it's only been 20 years since Facebook started. And now look what's going on. Now look how crazy the world's gone with information, which in some ways is great because we're more informed than ever. However, in other ways, it could be a detriment, especially with AI now. I think we're starting to lose a little bit of critical thinking. I think it's happening with AI. I think AI is fantastic in many ways. However, I think it can be dangerous if we stop using our minds, right? So I do encourage you to exercise your mind. And it's interesting, we've got higher rates of dementia now too. That's a very interesting side effect as well. Anyway, back to the social media users. So this is the number of social media users in the billions. Stats, this is by Statista. So now we're at 5.17 billion social media users currently. And that's going to keep going up as well. So as you can see, if you've been resisting social media, I recommend that you learn to embrace it. And just remember, everything is hard until it becomes easy. Okay, everything is hard until it becomes easy. Sometimes it feels a bit like this. You're like, oh my gosh, what is all these hashtags and lols? It's like another language sometimes on social media. And this little Tweety bird here, of course, which is now, Twitter is now called X. These Tweety birds one's going, what the fudge are you talking about? But look, the beauty is keep your messaging very, very simple. And it's the same with journalists. Journalists want to be pitched messages very simply because they're always writing and presenting stories if a 14-year-old can understand the story. So keep your messaging very, very simple. And this is where sometimes people are too close to their story to see the genius of their story. I do believe it's about shifting from fear to love. This is really going to help you propel your profile. And just notice if you have any fear in your life around stepping up or speaking up in any way, then I recommend that you just let that go and do the inner work, do whatever you need to do to get over your fear and to come back to a place of love. Because the more love you have, the more self-love and the more confidence, the more you're going to show up and be authentically you and share your message with the world bravely and boldly, even when people don't like it. It's okay. Look, the thing is, there's people that like you and hate you now, and there's going to be just even more, right? You're going to get more lovers, more haters, the more you build your profile. So I wouldn't worry about it. Just go out and, do your thing anyway, because that's what we're here for, right? Life is short. Make a difference while you can. And going from that fear of stepping up there, worried what people think of you. So just let that go. We'll step into love. And here's someone who does a great job of that. Gary Vee, of course, he did a video blog on YouTube called Wine Library TV back in the day from 2006 to 2011. That was back in the early days, right? The early days of social media. And now his net worth is $220 million. So he's someone not afraid to put himself out there. Look, all he did is he got pissed and did a whole lot of shows, and away you go. And there you go. You can be a millionaire just like that. Amazingly. So there we go. That's Gary Vee, and he certainly doesn't care what people think about him. And I love that about him. All right, let's get into these 11 secrets. Now, firstly, nail your niche. Find your focus. Narrow down your niche to specialize in a specific area, ideally. If you want to be known as an expert in something, what is your niche that you could be known as? Now, focused expertise will make your brand memorable and valuable. Identify what are the pain points that your clients currently have. Understanding their challenges and desires will really help you to put your content together. The more specific, the easier it is to create targeted solutions. Some of you might have heard of Answer the Public. That's a great way to find out what your ideal clients could be looking for in your area. And speak their language. Use the words, phrases, emotions that resonate with your ideal clients to create instant connection and trust. So that's the first secret. Nail your niche. Next one, your story, your superpower. You are 1 in a billion just by being born. You've beaten a billion swimmers to get to the finish line, and you are here and you've been through all your ups and downs and everything's brought you to this point, and now you're in the perfect place to get yourself out there. You might have heard the saying, takes a lifetime to be an overnight success. Takes a lifetime to be an overnight success. So if you've got more in you yet, then I recommend, don't delay, get out there and make hay while the sun shines, as they say. So what is your why? Uncovering your why. What's your personal story? More than facts, we want to hear your story. We want to hear why you do what you do. Share the journey that led you to where you are today. Share this in your social media. You could share it in press releases, share it in your blogs, in online videos. Be vulnerable. Authenticity is magnetic. Share your challenges and triumphs to build a real connection with your audience. Now, there's many live videos I've done and many speaking gigs I've done where I've cried. I look at Dr. John DeMartini and he's often getting into tears of gratitude. Like if the tears come, just let them come, like be authentic, share from the heart, and that comes with owning your story, owning where you're at and having that sense of self-worth and confidence without being arrogant about it. You don't have to have a big ego about yourself, but you certainly need some confidence to be able to share what you're here on the planet for and what you want to make a difference in. Because if not you, then who, right? If not you, then who? And you just never know the ripple effect of what you can put out there. Craft your brand narrative as well. Craft your brand narrative. So develop a storyline aligns with your brand values and purpose, so people see your brand as relatable and inspiring. So we're all about inspiring truth and good news. That's at the heart of everything we do with our media business. And of course, it is around kindness as well. It's about loving yourself, about living your best life and making a bigger difference in the world. So what is your brand narrative? Why do you do what you do? And what are you passionate about? So for example, with the good news work we do, so I started a Good News Day on the 8th of the 18, and that was after my 4th friend suicided by the age of 45. And the stats are, before COVID, we had about 1 million people a year worldwide suiciding, and now that's gone up 4 times through COVID. Uh, and so it's something I wanted to make a difference in. My personal story, having watched a lot of negative news, having worked as a journalist in negative news outlets, I wanted to make a difference. So we started Good News Day then, and then in COVID, I ramped it up with all the negative news happening. We had a global Good News Challenge that we launched, and now every single month for free, and Nick's been on a few of them, and some of you here as well. Check out the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. You'll see all the details about that. A free monthly challenge, sharing gratitude and good news, and it's free marketing for you. We share your videos out to thousands of people. Check out the details on the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. Now, the animal action work I do, for a long time I saw animal cruelty. I was very upset by it, didn't know what to do to make a difference. And 2007, I saw there was a turning point. Turning point was I saw this documentary called Earthlings, and it was so hard to watch. It was all about how humans have treated animals over time, how we've used them for food, clothing, scientific research. And literally by the end of it, I was holding my throat and crying. And I thought, I've got to do more to help animals. And so I started the world's first Animal Action Day in 2007. We've done 18 annual events now, raising awareness, appreciation, respect for animals. And in fact, the fire ant event recently, the fundraiser for the bees, that was our 18th annual event that we just did. And I was going to do a fundraiser for bees anyway, and then I found out about the fire ant issue. So then it became more of a fire ant event. However, we did raise funds for Save the Bees and raising awareness about the pollinators as well. So that's been a wonderful give back. However, whatever you're passionate about, you don't have to go out and create an event. You could just, align with someone like, Destiny Rescue or one of the other charities, and you could donate some proceeds from what you do to one of those charities. So, it's wonderful to be able to give back to a cause that you care about. This is the Global Good News Challenge to check out and you'll find all these links on my Linktree/Aldwyn, which you can see at the bottom of the screen there as well as our link for Saturday's event there as well. Step 3, secret 3, the 10-second hook. Now, capture attention, so important. Create a bold, concise pitch that communicates who you are and what you offer in a few powerful words. So, for example, with the animal action events that we do, it's about awareness, appreciation, and respect for animals. With the good news work we do, and with my Media Queen TV channel, inspiring truth and good news. You see, very simple messaging. What's your simple messaging that really stands out? Highlight your unique edge as well. What makes you different and valuable? What is your X factor that sets you apart from others? And a tip here is something in your story that sets you apart. So the question is then, are you sharing that X factor that's in your story? Have you owned that X factor, and are you ready now to share? Because often, once you step out with that, you'll be amazed what happens. End with a call to action. Always give people a call to action and a way to connect with you further. You could give a quick tip, resource, or compelling invitation to connect. Always look at how you can be of service. Secret 4 is your signature blueprint. Create a step-by-step framework. Break down your process into clear steps that make your expertise accessible and easy to remember. Brand it. Name your framework to make it uniquely yours and easy for others to associate with your expertise. So this is your IP model. Some of you might have heard your intellectual property. And showcase client success stories. Use these testimonials to show that your system works. And I do recommend that you put these all over your social media as well as on your website. It's really about omnipresence marketing nowadays. And that's where it's important to have a multifaceted approach to really be seen, heard, and known amongst the noise. This is an example of my IP models going from secret to star. This is my rocket ship model here. Secret, start, steady, shoot, star. This is the journey that people go on when they go to build their profile. And the keys to success people need: passion, purpose, package, profile. Are you Googleicious? What happens when people Google you? Who are the people that you know in your business? Who are the strategic connections that you have? The process, building relationships with journalists. And then how do you propel that? How do you make the most of your media and marketing that you put out there that gets traction? So that's some keys to success as part of my IP models. This is my awesome media magic formula. Some people have seen this. Is my awesome magic media wand, I call it. Articulating your story, working some angles, elevate your profile. Now, if you go into media, I recommend have a press release and some good visuals because media are always interested in good visuals. If you have some good visuals, then you're going to get more airtime. Some of you might know Colin Lee from Inspire Realty. I did some PR work for him. Now, he had a great promo video done. So when he got TV coverage, we gave them the promo video, and they used a lot of his promo video in the TV segment. So again, making their job easy for them, startling the media, owning your power, having that confidence, doing the inner work, doing the personal development work. mastering interviews and exploding your impact. Once you get the media coverage, what are you then doing with it? There's so many things you can do to maximize it. And if you've had media coverage in the past and you haven't shared it, then I recommend pull out those old files and share them on your socials and see what happens. You might be quite surprised at the traction. Now, this is another IP model, which I showed you earlier: message, market, media, monetize. So do you have your IP models? Do you have your thoughts into a diagram like that? And it helps people, sort of visualize things. It makes it very simple for people to understand what you do as well. Now, once you do all those things, you'll build your fame, you'll build your fortune, you'll build your freedom, and you leave a legacy. With every single media spot you get, or every single speaking gig, every single book project, etc., you're leaving a legacy. And this is where hopefully you won't become one of the 90% of people who die with regrets. You won't be one of those people, ideally, who die by the age of 65, as 1/3 of people do. So if you're above 65, well done. You're in the top 2/3 already. Secret 5, magnetic online presence. Optimize every profile. Check across all your profiles. Ensure your website, your LinkedIn, social media profiles have a consistent and professional brand image. Use high quality visuals. Make a great first impression. You never get a second chance for that, right? Invest in high quality images and design that instantly communicate credibility. And if you want to get on TV and you're doing an event, then I recommend have some good quality videography as well. And I know Christian does that. We're looking at doing an event together actually down the track, so stay tuned. Highlight your expertise. Use headlines, featured sections, and keywords to ensure your profiles are searchable and position you as an expert. So using hashtags and things like that are really important with your marketing. Secret 6, content that converts. Solve real problems. Most of your content should address a question or pain point your audience has, making it valuable and shareable. Now, I say most of your content because I think it's also important to share some things going on in your personal life. People want to hear about what you're up to. They want to connect with you on, heart-to-heart level. That's something that AI and robots will never have, is a heart, right? We'll never be able to connect heart to heart. So this is where that's really going to get the cut through now. And then, share about what you're passionate about, share about the difference you're making, share a good news story. Look, there's so many things you can share, and really to vary your content is so important. And this is where mix up the formats, diversify your content types, put videos, articles, infographics, live sessions, engage different learning preferences. Some of our reels on Pinterest have had 50,000 organic views. Just do a little inspiring reels, because we're all about lifting people up and inspiring people through the media, right? So we do these inspiring little reels and some fun things, and it's amazing some of the reach that we've had organically on some of this content. Consistency over perfection. Don't let perfection get in the way of progress, right? As they say, show up consistently. And I know a lot of you here do show up consistently, and I want to acknowledge you for that. I know there's, Nick's been showing up consistently since 2017 with just this event, Business Owners Smashing It Online, every single week, which is extraordinary. So congratulations, Nick, for that. And you've built a beautiful following now with what you do, which is wonderful. And making such a big difference. People remember brands they see regularly, even if the content isn't always perfect. In fact, sometimes the least perfect content gets more engagement. So that's Secret 6, content that converts. Secret 7, the media magnet effect. Position yourself as a media expert. Reach out to media outlets with a strong pitch that highlights your expertise and relevance. Leverage PR to build credibility. Media exposure boosts credibility, positions you as a trusted source in your industry. And then repurpose and share. Make sure you share across your socials, website, newsletters, emails to increase your visibility and authority with the media that you get. This is one story here that we had in a local paper. This led the filmmaker of this actually got a $200,000 funding offer from this one story. This was a magazine story we had for relationships and intimacy coach, Claire Flynn. This is Paul Herman. He was fighting bank fraud, got on a current affair, Gold Coast Bulletin, ABC 2GB. Stephen Essar, Sky News Business TV. That publicity value of a 6-minute story was $1.5 million. That they say publicity is worth 3 to 8 times more in value than advertising, and you got 22 times more views of stories versus ads. So the PR value of free publicity is so much more valuable than any paid ads. This story here, a lady opened up about her story authentically. This is Michelle Patterson. She opened up about her child being forced to adopt her child out 30 years previously. And in the second column, second paragraph, she had her business website leading to her empowering women's courses. And that was 1.6 million readers, a Women's Day exclusive. They actually paid for this story. They paid thousands of dollars. And that was 300 grand at least value for that. And so Women's Day. It was also on the front cover of the magazine by her speaking up about her story. Kurek Ashley, success coach, worked with Tony Robbins. 4-page spread in Excel magazine, and that ended up being, he always wanted to be on Oprah, and Oprah was on the cover of the magazine. Publicity value 80 grand for 4 pages, and we just times it by 5 to keep the figures equal there. So there's a few examples of some of the PR that we've got for clients. Now, it's easy nowadays to stand out with online global shows, and Tech Webcast is a show that I co-hosted with 2 guys from Melbourne and a guy from America who I never met. We did it for 3 years. It had 1 million downloads in 8 years with that show, and then Media Queen TV now for about 10 years. I've been doing online streams, and we've had about 277,000 views or so across our shows. And that was even with a bit of shadow banning that we had through COVID because we were very controversial. Even with that, we've still had 277,000 views. This is Barry Crocker. Who knows Barry Crocker here? Amazing Aussie entertainer. We had a 1 hour, 45-minute interview, live interview, the longest interview he's ever done in his entertainment career. And you can see it online at any point. It's a beautiful legacy for Barry at 88 years of age. These are some of the other interviews we've done. We do Media Queen TV images like these with our clients. Is some of the ladies that we've interviewed and some of the topics. And here are some of the men that we've interviewed. You might know some of these people. I'll flip through quickly. I'm just aware of the time ticking on. I co-host this show, Total Truth Show, with Ken Kleinberg from San Diego. We've just done about 90 episodes. Never met the guy. We met on online networking 3 years ago, and we've kept these shows going. It's a beautiful thing. Media Mavens Show, I co-host with a lady from Germany who was a traditional TV star in Germany, and that's been another great collaboration. Secret 8, take the stage, own the room. Define your core message, engage emotionally, and have a strong call to action. What's one impactful takeaway that aligns with your brand, leaves the audience wanting more? Using storytelling or story showing, as some people say, and enthusiasm, have good energy about you, creates a powerful connection with your audience. And having that call to action that showcases your expertise and encourages engagement. So important. Take the stage in the room, get more speaking gigs. See if you can appear on this. I know Nick's always looking for speakers, so reach out if you haven't spoken at this event. Social proof that sizzles. Secret 9, gather high quality testimonials. Use case studies for depth and display reviews strategically. This is a great way to fast track your credibility and to showcase how you've achieved results for your clients. Now, here's some people that have got some great results. That was the filmmaker from that article, $200,000 funding offer, from the article with Claire Flynn about great relationships lead to successful business. She got asked to speak at an event in front of 450 of her ideal clients from one person that saw that story. More inquiries and leads on a website. She doubled the income she was making in a business as well. Dean Vegas, great testimonials. Here's one saying he got millions of dollars of free media coverage. He's the world's best Elvis impersonator and built his reputation following. Benefits far outweigh the costs. Sheila Mack is in LA. She's got a show goes out to 5 million viewers. She's one of our Mass Media Mastery members, and she's interviewed many of our clients as well. She's on NBC's KCAA Radio, Sheila Mack Show. She gained over 50 media appearances after we worked together. And this is Daryl Reeves. We had over 40 media appearances in 1 month, a 10 times increase in Aussie Mega Mall after we worked together as well. There's some examples. Here's some examples of some case studies that we share across our socials. AJ Coots, this is here this is on our Mythia, which was a science fiction book. This guy was out of Newcastle. And there also Amir Meshal, buyer's agent in Sydney. He was on Channel 9 SBS Insight. Olivia Ong in Melbourne in Australian Women's Weekly. Hans Jacoby. That was a connection from Nick, actually. Thank you for that, Nick. And he was on Win News Townsville there, and many other media as well. Secret 10, power networking. Connect with influencers. Add value first. Be visible in key communities. Very important what you're doing now, making connections here, booking calls with people after this so you build those connections further, I think is so important as well. So really work your networks. Your net worth is in your network, they say. Secret 11, stay relevant and stay radiant, like we've done with the fire ant stories right now. It's very, very relevant. Create a content schedule, develop a calendar for social media posts, blogs, videos, etc. Regular contact with your audience. So Christmas is coming up, right? People are launching Christmas parties now. Soon we've got, new financial or new year, new start of the new year coming up. That'll be a great one to promote. Then we've got Australia Day coming up, and then there's all these things you can tag on to get media coverage and to stay relevant and current in social media as well. Follow industry trends, share timely insights, to remain relevant and demonstrate thought leadership. And show up as yourself. Again, authenticity builds trust and loyalty. Share who you are, not just what you know, to build a lasting connection. And then a bonus one is to celebrate your success. Make sure once you get your coverage, tag the media outlets, put these on your website, social media sites. I recommend have a media page for your website if you don't already, and get these clippings, tag the media. This is at the bottom right. Here's Herb Armstrong, the grandson of Louis Armstrong, who performed at one of our Animal Action events. That was the ABC radio. Top right was Channel 9. We're doing a fundraiser for Sea Shepherd that year. And the one on the left is Animal Welfare League fundraiser back in 2007. That was our very first event with Dean Vegas and a clown. Obviously, I mentioned good visuals, right? You want nice, colourful, out there, vibrant visuals. There's a whole lot of PR distribution sites as well. We don't have time to go into all these right now, but these ones you can get media contacts. You can email some of these media contacts through some of these. However, often they're out of date. It's better to build your in-person connections as much as possible. And Source Bottle is a great resource. I recommend if you haven't checked that out, you can browse free publicity opportunities there. Every single day at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. there's opportunities that pop up there. So I recommend get onto them quick, and never know what might come out of that as well. Now, I do have a Mass Media Mastery program. It's a lifetime access program. If you want to find out more information, then just book a call with me. I'll share my QR code in just a moment. The world is your oyster, my friends. I believe in the power of one, and I believe in you. May your flame burn bright and light up all those around you. It's a beautiful ripple effect. When you propel your profile, when you build your brand, it's amazing, what a difference you can make in the world. There's my QR code. Feel free to scan that. Now, at the top there, we do have a free event coming up on Saturday at Club Helensvale, in-person event, Saturday 9 till 12. And Sunday, we have the Speakers Tribe Queensland event as well. So some of you might like to come check that out. That's this Sunday, and we have networking and lunch afterwards as well. So, so check that out. You'll see the link at the top of my QR code. Just go to linktree/Aldwyn, linktr.ee/Aldwyn. And now we'll look at the comments here. If you got any questions, I'll just leave that for a moment, and we'll see what these comments are here. I love Gary V. Excellent, Lisa. Thank you. Oh, great. Dr. Chris got a class coming up. Beautiful. Excellent. Some of your info in there. Beautiful. Oh, LNP says it's now time for moving from fear to love, Neil. Oh, that's good to hear. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, if you've got any questions, happy to answer some questions if we have time. Otherwise, that's the end of my presentation. I'll stop the share. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick. Back to you.
Fantastic. Excellent. Lots and lots of information in there, and you really do live what you are teaching as well too, with all of that media coverage. What is the time? We've probably got time for a couple of questions. Anyone got any questions, comments, or feedback at all? In fact, we've got 1 minute, so give us your 1 minute if you've got anything there. And maybe Aldwyn, have you got your Linktree address, and just sort of drop that into chat?
Thank you. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the thank yous. I really appreciate it. So great to see you all again. It's like a reunion every time I come to Bossio. It's awesome.
Excellent.
I love seeing you all.
All right. Well, I think let's move on to the a door prize for tonight. So we do have a door prize, and it's kindly been offered by you, Aldwyn. Can you tell us a wee bit about what that is?
Yes, sure. So what I'm offering today is a 1-hour media strategy session with me. And this here, if I see you in person, or I can send this to you, this is the voucher here. So be the change you wish to see in the world. One of my favorite quotes by Gandhi. And at the bottom, it says, "You are awesome and a gift to the world." So you get that lovely flyer there that you can put up on your fridge or wherever you like. And on the back, you get a media strategy session with me. So we'll get some clarity on your messaging and give you some great ideas on how you can get out there. That's valued at $497.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, I hope I win that one. Actually, I don't think my name is in the wheel, but we do have our special way of drawing this. We have our wheel of names. Everybody's name is in this wheel of names. So stick around. Don't leave yet, because you have to be in the room to win this. So let's spin the wheel, see who our lucky winner is today. So give us a virtual drum roll as it spins around, and it is going to land on, let's have a look, Sandra Madison. Are you in the room, Sandra? Just give us a wave, unmute yourself, let me know. Yes, Sandra is here. Well done.
Yay, congratulations, Sandra.
Thank you.
Fabulous, excellent.
Thank
We will
Please book
connect
a
you up
call,
with
Sandra.
Aldwyn tomorrow by email, or if you can, I've dropped her link into chat as well, Linktree, so you'll be able to book a call with her. But we will connect you up by email so that you can organise a session with you. So outstanding. That is awesome. Excellent. All right. Well, that is our show for tonight. Let's give Aldwyn a massive round of applause, virtual applause. And I know that there's things in there that you can action from the session tonight. I would encourage you, if you happen to be around in the Gold Coast area, do rock up to Aldwyn's event on Saturday. Well worth going to. Catch her online as well. Check out the Linktree link that is in chat as well too. And she's got a ton of resources in there as well too. So if you've enjoyed the show tonight, if there's some things in there you want to watch again, it will be up on the Smashco YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. If you know someone else that you think would have benefited from being here tonight too, feel free to share the link with them. The link for the YouTube channel is, I think it's in chat now. Is it in chat? If it's not, it'll be there very shortly. So if you go there, go and subscribe to the channel, click on that little bell. When you click on the bell, you'll get a notification when it is uploaded. There we go. The link is in chat too. And if you're not a member of the Business Owners Smashing It Online Facebook page, go and join there as well. And there's a heap of resources in there as well too. So that there is our session for today, all about how to become famous, be seen as the expert in your space. Thanks, Aldwyn, for coming on and sharing your wisdom and expertise once again. And thanks everyone for coming along, and look forward to seeing you same time next week. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.